I'm so tired, but I want to read. Hi, hi. Let's read. So, we are a little way through chapter 7, and now we are talking girlfriends. 17 years have passed since the Battle of Karchapa, and Bharat has discovered the pleasure of love. The tribe of Chief Varun, they are liberal and they are free to form any sort of relationship with the Gurukul pupil, and Bharat is especially popular among the women. And it seems like he now has his fifth girlfriend, and Ram is surprised. Another one? Ram saw Bharat with this girl who clearly looked like she was older than him. So Ram just went up to him and asked, "How are you, Vasu?" And Bharat says, "Never been better, Dada. Any better, and it would be downright sinful." So Ram just laughs and turns to this woman, and Bharat introduces her to be Radhika, the daughter of Chief Varun. Bharat has skills. Ram does a namaste to this girl, and this girl says, "Vasu is right, you're too formal." Ram becomes a little bit uncomfortable. Ram is pretty much immune to the feminine charms, but he couldn't stop thinking that this woman had an Apsara like feel. So Ram just turns to Bharat, saying, "Sa vartate lavanyavati," thinking that Radhika would not understand Sanskrit. While Bharat's Sanskrit was not that good, he kind of understood that Ram was calling her exquisitely beautiful. But before Bharat could respond anything, Radhika says, "Aham janami," which means "I know." Ram says, "Your Sanskrit is perfect." And this Radhika says, "You may be learning new Sanskrit, but the old scriptures can only be enjoyed with old Sanskrit." So Ram now apologizes to Radhika that if he has somehow offended her. And she says, "Why would a woman be offended if somebody compliments her to be beautiful?" Now Ram says, "My little brother is lucky." And Radhika says, "I'm not so unlucky myself." But there is this fact that even though Chief Varun's tribe was liberated and they could form any relationship with um, anybody, they never married outside their community. So even if Vasu, that is Bharat, was serious about Radhika, there wouldn't be any unison happening. So he just hoped that this doesn't break his heart. So later in the afternoon, we find the four brothers, Ram and Bharat, are sitting. Bharat is eating a huge amount of butter. Shatrughan and Lakshman are practiced a little bit of riding. And Ram is asking Bharat to stop eating that butter because it's unhealthy. So Bharat says, "Do I look unhealthy? Do I look fat?" So Ram says, "Obviously, women find you handsome, so my opinion is of no consequence." So Bharat says, "Yes, absolutely." Ram now decides to talk about something even more serious, and he was about to start that, "Bharat, you know that." So Bharat interrupts him and says that, "It won't happen, Dada." So Ram says, "But you know, they don't really allow others." Bharat then says, "Radhika loves me. She will break the law for me. I know that." So Ram says, "How can you be so sure?" And Bharat says, "I am. So don't worry about me. Just be happy." That's how the conversation ends. So Bharat now asks Ram that, "When will you give me the opportunity to congratulate you?" Ram just frowns. So Bharat says, "Aren't you attracted to any girl here or in Ayodhya?" So Ram says, "Nobody is worth it." So Bharat asks, "What are you looking for?" And Ram says, "I don't want a girl, I want a woman." Bharat says, "Aha, I knew there was a devil behind you." Ram says, that's not what I meant. Love is secondary for me. I want someone who I can respect. Bharat says, respect sounds boring. So Ram says, relationships based on passion and excitement do not last. I want a relationship where I can trust and that my partner and I have this knowledge that we can depend upon each other. I want a woman who is better than me, someone who can make me bow in admiration. Bharat says, we respect and bow to our parents and Guruji, Dada, not wife. Wife is someone we share our passions with. Great Lord Brahma, I pity the woman who will marry you. Your relationship will go down in history as the most boring one. So they just sit there and laugh off on different topics, and that's how the conversation goes. In the next part of chapter 7, we see that an unknown, mysterious man has come to the Gurukul late at night to save himself from anybody seeing him. But luckily, Lakshman is out riding and he recognized this unknown horse tied to a tree. Upon seeing this unknown animal tied to the tree, Lakshman decides to go meet Vashisht and inform him of this intruder. But he finds that Vashisht's chamber is empty, so he becomes more suspicious and decides to explore himself. Lakshman finally spots Guru Vashisht under the bridge, conversing with this mysterious man. And this mysterious man is asking Vashisht, whom do you favor? Vashisht replies, I haven't made up my mind yet. Lakshman decides to eavesdrop on the matter, so he hides behind this bush and starts listening. Now this mysterious man again says, you need to decide quickly. And Vashisht says, why? Now Lakshman couldn't see this stranger properly, but whatever he could see, it gave him shiver down the spine. And even the darkness couldn't hide how he appeared. This is what it says. Even the failing light couldn't conceal the stranger's unnaturally fair skin, giant size, and rippling musculature. His body was covered with fur-like hair, and a peculiar outgrowth emerged from his lower back. Clearly, he was a dangerous Naga, the mysterious race of the deformed which was feared in all identity. And this man made no attempt to conceal his identity. While most Nagas wore this mask on their face and hooded robes, this man was openly standing wearing an angavastram and a dhoti. Now, Guru Vashisht and this mysterious man is talking about choosing somebody. And then they start talking about Ravan. Vashisht, instead of saying something against Ravan, he just says, Ravan, he has his issues. This shocks Lakshman manifold. So now this stranger says, Vashisht, that some people think that you are planning a rebellion against Dasharath. So Vashisht just laughs and says, there is nothing to rebel against. This kingdom has already fallen. Dasharath has completely drowned himself in depression. So my goal is bigger. So even if people think that I am after some kingdom, let them be. Now Vashisht then says to this stranger, come with me, I have to show you something. And they both leave. And Lakshman there is completely shocked. And he's thinking to himself that what is up with Guruji? Are we safe here? So he decides to immediately rush to his older brother, Ram. Next we see that Lakshman is already in Ram's quarters and trying to convince Ram that something awkward is happening. And the only thing Ram says is, Lakshman, go to sleep. Now Ram just can't stop thinking that whether this is something serious or is this just love again being mixed up with conspiracy, because Lakshman had been doing this since childhood. But Lakshman is saying, believe me, Dada, something is happening down there and we don't know. So Ram says, did you share this with Bharat. Lakshman says, no, he might be on it. And Ram just glares at him and says, Lakshman, he is your Dada too. And Lakshman goes on, you have no idea, Dada, you're too simple. There are conspiracies going on everywhere, and Guruji is involved, and maybe some others are. You know nothing, and your duty is to protect us. My job is to inform you. I have informed you. Now it is up to you whether you want to investigate or not. And Ram says, there is nothing to investigate, Lakshman. And Lakshman is like, but Dada. And Ram then rebukes him, saying, Lakshman, go to bed. And that was the end of chapter 7. To know what happens next, keep coming back. Bye bye.